Thompson's in the driving seat here, but watch Seville on the near side. It's ever so close. Seville from Thompson.
In Tokyo, with nearly 60,000 fans on their feet and the greatest sprinter ever watching from the stands, this 24-year-old Jamaican just rewrote sprint history in the most dramatic way possible. But before we get to the main event, let's talk about who everyone expected to win. Noah Lyles, the defending world champion and fresh off his Olympic gold from Paris, was feeling confident, really confident. He told reporters he was in the best form of his entire life. Then there's Kishane Thompson, the Olympic silver medalist who had been absolutely flying this season. His time of 9.75 seconds was the fastest anyone had run in 10 years. And then there was Oblique Seville. At just 5 feet 7 inches tall, he's a full 10 inches shorter than Jamaica's sprint legend Usain Bolt. Most people weren't talking about him as a serious gold medal threat. He was the guy who always seemed to choke when it mattered most. 2 straight fourth-place finishes at World Championships. Last place in the Olympic final just a year ago. But sometimes the quiet ones surprise you. What made this night even more special was who was watching from the VIP box. Usain Bolt himself had been paraded around the stadium earlier, and now he was sitting in the stands, about to watch the first global 100-meter final since his retirement. The connection between Bolt and Seville runs deeper than just representing Jamaica. Seville trains under Glenn Mills, the same coach who guided Bolt to 8 Olympic gold medals. When Seville was just 10 years old, he told his mother he wanted to be trained by Bolt's coach. That dream came true. And now, years later, he was about to race for the biggest prize in sprinting with his hero watching. Jamaica hadn't won a global men's 100-meter title since Bolt's victory at the 2016 Olympics. That's 9 long years of waiting. The pressure on this new generation of Jamaican sprinters was immense. Could anyone fill those massive shoes? For Seville, this journey to the starting line hadn't been easy. At the end of 2018, his father passed away from a suspected heart attack. His dad had been his biggest supporter, his first fan. Seville later said his father never got to see his true talent, and that loss has stayed with him every day since. The last conversation they had was about track and field, with his father telling him to just go out there and do it, because he could. That motivation carried Seville through years of heartbreak on the track. In 2022, he ran the fastest time in the semifinals at Worlds, then finished 4th in the final. In 2023, same story. 4th place again, this time losing a medal by just 0.004 of a second. The 2024 Olympics in Paris were supposed to be his breakthrough moment. He ran the fastest semifinal time, looked ready to finally cash in on his potential, then disaster struck. He injured his hamstring in the final and finished dead last. People started to wonder if Seville just couldn't handle the pressure of big moments. But something changed in 2025. He started beating Noah Lyles head-to-head, first in London, then again in Lausanne. Track expert Donovan Bailey said Seville had owned Lyles all year. Maybe this was finally his time. The semifinals in Tokyo told us everything we needed to know about what kind of final we were in for. All 8 men who made it through had to run under 10 seconds just to qualify. The 3 fastest, Kenny Bednarek, Thompson, and Seville, were separated by just 1/100th of a second. But it was Seville's reaction after winning his heat that caught everyone's attention. As he crossed the line in 9.86 seconds, he raised his finger to his lips in a quiet gesture. He was ready to silence all the doubters. The final was set, but drama struck before the race even began. Letsile Tebogo, the Olympic 200-meter champion from Botswana, jumped the gun and was disqualified. The crowd of 60,000 gasped as one of the medal favorites was eliminated before taking a single step. This opened up the race even more. As the finalists were introduced, you could see the different personalities on display. Lyles raised his hands like a champion boxer and roared at the crowd. Thompson was bouncing around, full of energy and confidence. But Seville stayed calm, ice cool, just waiting for his moment. When the gun finally fired, Thompson exploded out of the blocks like always. The man moves like a freight train when he gets going. Through the first 60 meters, he was in control, looking like he might finally get that gold medal that slipped away in Paris. Lyles was in the mix, trying to work his way into contention. But Bednarek, one of the pre-race favorites, had a terrible start and was already out of medal contention. This is where Seville's patience paid off. All season long, he had struggled with his finish. He would run well for 70 meters, then fade in the final 30. but he had been working on this weakness, and it was about to pay off in the biggest way possible. With 30 meters to go, Thompson was still leading, but his form was starting to break down. That's when Seville made his move. He had been sitting in third, just waiting for the right moment. As Thompson's technique got sloppy, Seville stayed smooth and powerful. With 20 meters left, he pulled even. With 10 meters left, he was in front. The moment Seville crossed the finish line, he knew. He ripped his racing vest right off his chest and beat his hands against his body in pure joy. The clock showed 9.77 seconds, a new personal best, and fast enough to beat everyone behind him. Thompson held on for silver in 9.82, while Lyles took bronze in 9.89, his best time of the season. But the most powerful image wasn't on the track. Up in the VIP box, Usain Bolt was going absolutely wild. The man who had dominated sprinting for a decade was celebrating like a superfan as his countrymen brought the 100-meter title back to Jamaica. It was the first Jamaican 1-2 finish in a global 100-meter final since Bolt and Johan Blake did it at the 2012 Olympics. Seville was emotional after the race. He said he felt amazing that the gold was coming home to Jamaica, and that he had proved he was a true competitor with the heart of a champion. He admitted he had been panicking during the semifinals, still struggling with those finishing problems that had haunted him all season, but he said he had finally perfected that weakness, and he knew if he could execute his finish in the final, nobody would catch him. The significance of competing in front of Bolt wasn't lost on him either. Seville said it was tremendous to race in front of his hero, knowing that both Bolt and their shared coach Glenn Mills were proud of him. He had proved right in front of the greatest sprinter ever that he was a champion too. Lyles revealed after the race that an ankle injury had disrupted his entire season. He came to Worlds with only 4 races over 100 meters under his belt, which isn't nearly enough preparation for this level of competition. But he was still confident about defending his 200-meter title later in the championships.
It's all about getting everything right. You know what I mean? It's never just easy. It's always easier when you're younger because I was there. I used to do great things when I was young, but...
17-year-old Australian sprinter Gout has become one of the most talked-about athletes in the world. With a string of record-breaking runs and a personality that mixes humility with bold confidence, his story has fans calling him the next Usain Bolt. But beyond the hype, there's a deeper question. How does a teenager from Ipswich, Queensland end up rewriting record books and drawing headlines across the globe? For Gout, the 100-meter dash doesn't quite cut it. I definitely like 200 more than 100 because 100 is a bit too short for me, he explained before making his European debut at the Golden Spike Meet in Ostrava. You get the start, and then you're already at the finish line. I really like getting out, hitting my top speed, and holding it to the finish line. So 200 is great, and I love it. That preference has already brought historic results. At just 16, Gout clocked 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters, breaking Peter Norman's legendary Australian record from 1968. That performance also made him the fastest 16-year-old ever over the distance, even faster than Usain Bolt at the same age. By 2025, he lowered the record again, storming to 20.02 in Ostrava in front of a stunned European crowd. It wasn't just another national record, it was a statement. Gout was here, and he was ready to test himself against the world's best. Although he loves the 200-meter more, Gout's 100-meter performances can't be ignored. In December 2024, he ran 10.04 in the heats of the Australian All-Schools Championships.
The Queenslander hasn't even touched the ground yet, the young man, and he's boomed away here in the heats, and he's gone. 10.05! How do you do, Gout? That is
the 4th fastest U18 time in history. He followed that up with 10.17 in the final, breaking the Australian under-18 record. A few months later, he dipped under 10 seconds with a 9.99 run, though wind-assisted. It didn't count as legal, but it showed his raw power. At just 17, Gout had put himself in conversations usually reserved for seasoned pros. Gout's rise isn't limited to one distance. He also owns the Oceanian record in the 200 meters, a 400 meters best of 46.20, and national records across multiple age groups. He even won silver at the 2024 World Athletics U20 Championships in Lima, Peru, proving he could compete internationally. Each performance has only amplified the buzz. Journalists, commentators, and legends of the sport have all chimed in. Former Australian champion Matt Shirvington has already called him the greatest sprinter his country has ever produced. Usain Bolt himself has taken notice, warning Gout that while talent is clear, the jump from junior to senior level is the real test. What makes Gout's story extraordinary is how young he was when he began smashing senior-level benchmarks. After breaking Norman's national record at 16, he admitted, "These are adult times and me, just a kid. I'm running them. I didn't expect it to be that fast. I thought maybe next year or the year after that." It's rare for an athlete so young to process his success with such level-headedness. That maturity has impressed Sebastian Coe, president of World Athletics, who described Gout as the real deal, but also urged caution. "This is a rare and precious talent that will need nurturing and protecting," Coe said. "When you run like Gout, comparisons to Usain Bolt are inevitable. Both men are tall, powerful, and electrifying in full stride. Both broke barriers as teenagers, and both bring an aura that captures global attention. But Gout insists he's just trying to be himself. What sets Gout apart isn't just his speed, it's his presence. Every time he steps on the track, he brings energy, confidence, and the sense that something special is about to happen. He speaks openly about loving the 200-meter because it lets him show off his top-end speed. He talks about feeling literally free when he broke 20 seconds for the first time, even if it was wind-assisted. And he handles pressure from media, fans, and legends with calm maturity. That combination, blistering times plus magnetic personality, has made him a fan favorite. In the age of social media, where athletes' brands can matter as much as their medals, Gout seems to understand instinctively how to carry himself. Some call it aura farming, building not just records but a reputation, an energy, a story that keeps people watching. His European debut in Ostrava was more than just another race. It was the moment he proved he could deliver on foreign soil. Facing seasoned international sprinters, Gout didn't just hold his own, he won, breaking his own national record. "I felt calm, but strong as I came off the turn and was confident I'd be strong enough to get the win. Another national record. Pretty happy with that," he said. That victory placed him 6th on the World U20 all-time list and confirmed his status as one of the brightest young talents in track and field. Behind every prodigy is a team that keeps things grounded. Gout's coach, Di Shepherd, has been praised for guiding his development carefully. His manager, James Templeton, has made sure not to rush him into the spotlight too quickly. Together, they've built a plan that balances ambition with patience. Even his name carries a story. Born to South Sudanese parents who moved to Australia in 2006, Gout's surname was originally spelled Gut. A paperwork error left it as Gout, a name he has kept but one that sparks conversation every time he lines up. Usain Bolt himself offered words of advice. "It's always easier when you're younger, but the transition to senior from junior is always tougher. It's all about if you get the right coach, the right people around you, if you're focused enough." Bolt knows the dangers of early fame. Though he broke age group records, he didn't become a global star until 22, when he set the 100-meter world record and won Olympic double gold in Beijing. For Gout, the challenge will be staying healthy, focused, and patient. History is full of teenage sensations. Allyson Felix won her first world title at 19. Ariane Knighton made an Olympic final at 17. Quincy Wilson became the youngest male U.S. Olympian in track history in 2024. But for every teen star who makes it, there are others whose careers fade too soon. That's why Coe, Bolt, and Tebogo all stress patience. It's not about what Gout does at 17, it's about where he'll be at 22, 25, or 30. With LA 2028 and Brisbane 2032 ahead, time is on his side. For Australian athletics, Gout represents hope. His rise comes as the nation looks for new stars ahead of a home Olympics. For track and field globally, he offers a narrative the sport needs. A young, charismatic sprinter ready to challenge the established names. Fans love his times, but they also love the way he talks, the way he races, the way he celebrates. Whether you call it aura, charisma, or energy, it's addictive. Every appearance feels like an event, and that's what makes him stand out. The story of Gout isn't just about running fast, it's about how a teenager can capture the imagination of a sport. With records already falling, legends offering praise and warnings, and a personality that commands attention, Gout is more than just an athlete. He's becoming a phenomenon. He may call the 100-meter too short, but his career is shaping up to be anything but, as long as he stays grounded, listens to the right voices, and continues balancing talent with patience. The sky's the limit. Gout isn't just addicted to sprinting, he's addicted to aura farming. And for fans, that's a story worth following every step of the way.
Easy from Kebageli, out wide Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away, and stretch away he does, and he's done it. He's broken the 10 seconds again. Look for the wind, look for the wind.
When a 17-year-old kid breaks Usain Bolt's record, you know the world is watching. But what happens when the legend himself finally speaks up about it? That's exactly what went down when Australian sprinter Gout ran 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters at his school championships. This wasn't just any fast time. Gout had just broken Bolt's under-17 record and become the fastest teenager in the world. He even beat a record that had stood in Australia since 1968, making him the fastest sprinter in all of Oceania. The athletics world went crazy. Social media exploded. Australian fans started talking about gold medals at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. Everyone wanted to know what Bolt thought about this young kid breaking his record. Speaking to reporters in Tokyo before the World Championships, Bolt didn't just congratulate Gout and move on. Instead, he delivered a message that every young athlete needs to hear. Bolt said, "If he continues on this track, it's going to be good."
It's all about getting everything right. You know what I mean? It's never just easy. It's always easier when you're younger, because I was there. I used to do great things when I was young, but the transition to senior from junior is always tough.
This wasn't Bolt being negative. This was the voice of experience talking. The man who owns the 100-meter world record at 9.58 seconds knows exactly what Gout is about to face, and he wants to prepare him for it. See, people forget that Bolt himself was once a teenage sensation. At just 15 years old, he won the 2002 World Junior Championships, running 20.61 seconds in the 200 meters. He dominated the youth circuit and looked unstoppable. But here's the thing that most people don't know. Bolt didn't become the global superstar we remember until he was 22 years old. That's when he broke the 100-meter world record twice and won the sprint double at the Beijing Olympics in 2008. Even the greatest sprinter of all time had to wait and work for his breakthrough moment. This advice comes at the perfect time for Gout. The young Australian is about to make his World Championships debut in Tokyo, running the 200 meters on September 19th. He'll be facing the best sprinters on the planet, including some serious competition that might shock you. The men's 200 meters isn't just about Gout anymore. There's a rivalry brewing that has the entire athletics world talking. Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek are about to renew their feud, and it's getting personal.
World champs this year. 17, you be the youngest ever win it. Obviously, tough competition. How do you feel kind of going in there?
Well, I'm trying to show you what's up. So, I'm trying to come out there with a
That's what I love to hear.
So, whatever I gotta do to show I'm coming for that spot. So I need obviously it's a learning experience, but like deep down, I'm trying to get a medal for sure, or even make that final. And
at the U.S. Championships last month, these two had a moment that changed everything. Lyles won the race, but as they crossed the finish line, he stared down Bednarek. Bednarek didn't appreciate it one bit. After the race was over, he gave Lyles a two-handed shove in the back. Bednarek was furious. "Unsportsmanlike behavior, and I don't deal with that," he said right after the race. "It's a respect factor. He's fresh. Last time we lined it up, I beat him. Next time we line up, I'm going to win." The tension is real. Lyles is the three-time defending world champion in the 200 meters, but Bednarek has beaten him at the last two Olympics in this event. They say they've talked things out behind closed doors, but you can feel the electricity when these two are mentioned in the same breath. And right in the middle of all this drama, Gout will be trying to make his mark. He's currently seated 16th in the field, which means just making it to the semifinals would be a huge achievement.